Hello everyone, this is Jake Mickelsen. I am the Quality Improvement Education Manager in the Department of Radiology at Stanford University. And welcome today to the Radiology Improvement Team Education Program. Today's discussion is on sustain plans. So I know some of you are probably thinking, Jake, why do I need to watch a tutorial on sustain plans right now? I just started my project. I don't even have any solutions to sustain yet. Well, in some ways you are correct. Certain pieces of the sustain plan will not be determined until you get to that point in your project, when you do have solutions to sustain. But what you will see in this tutorial today is that there are other important aspects of your sustain plan that begin now, at the very beginning of your project, and all throughout your project. To illustrate the importance of sustain plans, I will use this equation. E equals Q times A. E is the effectiveness of your solution, Q is the quality of your solution, and A, adoption by those doing the process. So let's look at an example to see how this equation works. So if the quality of our solution is 99%, we've come up with this awesome solution, almost perfect. And adoption by those doing the process is 10%. How effective is our solution? So if we put our fourth grade math hats on and do some multiplication of percentages, we see that 99% times 10% equals 9.9%. So that means the effectiveness of our solution is really, really low. Well, someone might say, Jake, I came up with this great solution. It's going to work. I love it. Well, the adoption by those actually doing the process is really low. And because it is, you have a very ineffective solution. So this equation brings up a whole new point for your project, and that is there's something else to think about other than just coming up with a good solution. There's those that are doing the process that are going to need to adopt this idea that you're going to work so hard on. And we need to figure out ways to make that happen. Today I'm going to explain how do we achieve a strong Q and a strong A in order to ensure high effectiveness of your future solutions. So let's dive into the quality of the solution. How do we achieve a strong Q? Well, basically we do that through A3 thinking. We've gone through many of the sections of the A3. Today we're going to zoom in close to the sustain plan and talk about how we document our sustain plans for our future solutions. So let's use an example. Let's say we are in the CTU department and we are working on a project that involves room utilization. And we decided that one of our key drivers is a standard location for supplies. And looking at that key driver, we've come up with an intervention. We'd like to create a daily supplies box that is refilled every morning. So let's say we test that intervention. It tests out really well. It's working great. We want to sustain it. So now we bring that intervention down into our sustain plan as the activity we wish to sustain. Now, after we brought it down here, now we need to have a discussion with our team to discuss how are we going to sustain this. And we're providing a few questions here to help you understand some of the things you need to answer in order to have a good sustain plan. And that is what activities are required to make sure this improvement is continued in perpetuity. How will he or she carry that out? Is he or she aware of this and on board? And who is that person's supervisor? Do they support this? So when we go through our sustain plan, we want to document the answers to these questions. We want to document what activities are required. So let's say we say the CTAM lead tech is now going to own this activity, and they're going to sustain it by signing off a preparation of supplies box on our daily morning checklist. And they will report the execution of this task to their CT supervisor. We need to make sure that this new task here is in this person's job description so that this new improvement can be sustained going forward. So really what this does for us is it creates a documented place for our sustain plans and a way for us to communicate how we're going to sustain our solutions going forward. Another thing to think about in achieving a strong Q is the type of solutions we're coming up with. So a lot of times when we're faced with problems, one of the first things we say is, guys, let's just give them some feedback. Let's just give the team some feedback, and that's going to help them improve. Or maybe training. Maybe we'll set some basic standards. Maybe we'll do some embedded standard work into the process. Set some constraints. Maybe we can even automate it or redesign the whole process to our new solution. As we go to the right, we are actually increasing in level of reliability. These solutions are more reliable, will have a stronger Q than these solutions over here. And another thing to remember is that if we go back to the left, we're actually increasing the amount of effort the process owner will have to put into our solution after we leave. So what that means is that if we choose solutions that are solely based on feedback and training, the process owner is going to have a harder time sustaining our solutions because the level of reliability for these solutions is really low. It'll be much easier for them to sustain solutions that are on this end of the spectrum. But these solutions over here can be really costly, and they can be hard to do. And that's okay. Sometimes we will come up with solutions that are all based on feedback. My recommendation is that you try to couple those solutions with things like basic standards or embedded standard work. This will help you create much stronger solutions, much more reliable, and relieve the effort for the process owner. The A3 actually shows us more on how to do this, and I'm going to get into that and how we can use it for a specific example. But of course, our desired direction is we want to come this way. We want to be in solutions over here that are much more reliable, but like I said before, it's okay to couple some over here to make it easier to do. So when we look at the A3, there's actually a section at the very bottom of the A3, a little legend that shows a reliability level for each of our different solutions. So 1 is like a feedback or a checklist, 2, embedded standard work, and 3 is when we get into design or automation. So when we're looking at our key drivers, if you look at the intervention we had before, creating a daily supplies box, we gave this a reliability level of a 1 because it's just a basic standard. It's not automation or redesign, it's just a basic standard. And we do that in the A3 to just show that we acknowledge that this is a low reliability solution and that we're going to have to come up with a good sustain plan to make it work. And we can do that with each of our interventions. Is just give it a simple reliability level that we can use the legend here to define what that is. And it's great for communicating to those looking at our A3 that we acknowledge that this is a low reliability solution and we're going to work on creating a good sustain plan. So now let's dive into how do we achieve a strong A, which is adoption by those doing the process. So the first thing I want to emphasize is that there's a difference between adapt and adopt. Adapt means to adjust oneself to different conditions. Adopt means to choose or take as one's own. You'll notice in my equation I didn't say A means adaptation to the new process. It's adoption to the new process. When we come out with our solution and implement it, we don't want the teams to simply adjust to the new idea. We want them to choose to own it. I went to the CT department here in Stanford and I asked them, how can we depict this, the difference between adapt and adopt? And we came up with this way. This is adaptation. You've come up with a solution, you bring it out to the team, and the CT team says, okay, great, we give you a thumbs up, but it's not a genuine thumbs up. It's a thumbs up with a smiley face, a fake smiley face in front of it. Yes, we'll adapt to your new solution, but we really aren't bought into it and we don't choose to own it. And I think it's funny, Corey here, yeah, he's giving a thumbs up, but he's about to put that thumb behind his head saying, yeah, we'll do your solution, but as soon as you leave, we're going back to our old process, which often happens when we just simply adapt to a solution. Adopt is where we get a genuine yes, thumbs up, we want to do this. And I'm going to show you how we can achieve adoption and stay away from adaptation and therefore come up with much more sustainable solutions. So how do we do this? Well, we need to make sure that the team actually doing the process is ready, willing, and able. Throughout our project, starting now, we need to make sure the team understands our vision and value, that they are excited about our vision and their future role in our vision, and that they're able, that throughout the process we're going to equip those doing the process with the right tools and knowledge to support this new solution and possibly their new role. So how do we do that? Here are some ideas. Go to their team huddles, update them on your project, let them know what's going on. Make sure you test your ideas before implementing them. Don't just implement a new idea without testing it. Gather ideas from those doing the process. Have a structured way to get feedback from them. Make small wins and key takeaways visible to those doing the process, and listen and be humble. Great quality improvement leaders have profound humility. They're willing to listen to other people's ideas, even if they're contrary to their own, and they're willing to test them. So here are some ideas on how you can achieve that adoption and have a great sustainable solution when you get there. So in summary, here's the equation: E equals Q times A. Remember how this works together. And I just want to ask you one quick question to finalize this, and that is, what are some things you will do during your project to ensure you achieve adoption among those actually doing the process? Think about that and start now. Thanks for your attention today. This is Jake Mickelsen, and this is the Radiology Improvement Team Education Program. Thank you.